Hello, everyone. This is JD Calderon, and this is Indy Comics Explained. And yet again, I brought another fantastic groups of integrate. I just screwed up. Independent comic book creators. So there you go. So please hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video. And once again, I brought on this character, my co-host.
Yes, I am a character. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is JD Rosario. I am publishing under the Unstoppable Comics imprint for over 15 years in the capital of the New York City, and here to have fun with everybody tonight.
So who won the football game tonight?
J-E-T-S.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Yes, baby.
Nobody
what do you mean I don't care? What do you mean? It's football, bro.
This is comics. This is comics.
Mr. Lanning.
Hey,
I hate when people hate on it.
Nobody's hating on it. It's like nobody cares. There's a complete lot of difference. You know,
we just don't think it's fair. New York gets the Giants and the Jets. This is how it is.
That's a whole nother story.
Usually
Mr. Lanning, please introduce yourself.
All right, I'd say Michael Lanning, independent artist, done work for Arrow and other places and stuff. Got some stuff coming up. Also a host on Dispatches from Outside the Box on the Indy Comics Network every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern.
All right, thank you very much. Now on to the... How you doing, Laurie?
I'm good. I had to unmute myself. I was like, why am I muted? Hello, everybody. I'm Laurie Calcaterra. I'm the writer-creator of Path of the Pale Rider. I'm also a host on the Comic-Related Network, Comic-Related Madness Network. I'm on Tuesday mornings for Tuesday Morning Brew. And we also have a Kickstarter live for issue number 2, Path of the Pale Rider, right now, which if you like genre-bending comics, we're a spaghetti western plus horror, undead, conspiracy theories, undead bears, and gratuitous violence, sarcasm, all of that good stuff. So if that's kind of your thing, come check us out.
Yes, very nice. Next up, how you doing, Katie?
Hello. Yeah, I'm Katie Shaw. I'm the cartoonist for Dragon Child, and I am somebody who's been making my comic since 2013. And I just now started, well, not just now, about 2 weeks ago, started my first Kickstarter. So it's been a roller coaster.
Very nice.
Yeah, I feel you.
We all do, trust me.
Congratulations. Welcome.
Yeah. How you doing, Marcus?
I'm doing good, man. I'm Marcus McNeal. I'm founder and editor-in-chief of OdysseyComics.com. We just launched last year and just finished up our, I don't know, where are we on, number 5, our 5th Kickstarter for our first horror title. What we did with the world in it, got funded for that. So looking forward to going straight into fulfillment, which I've already started today.
Yay.
Cool.
Yeah,
Congrats,
glad
man.
to be back on the show again. Thank you.
Very nice. And
What's up,
Mr.
people?
Brian.
Yes,
Brian,
I am Brian Christgua. I am the creator of Six Gun Gorilla: Line Days of Vengeance. We've done 8 issues so far, and currently crowdfunding the 9th and the 10th issue for a Six Gun Gorilla omnibus edition.
Dude, I love your trailer. We play it in my show, and I'm just like, I need to meet this guy. I'm glad you're
thank you.
here. Hello.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. You're too kind.
Yeah, we only bring on the best people. I mean, we make an exception for Jay, but we only bring on the best people.
Oh, snap. And I also have a
I'll see to that one.
I also have a YouTube channel. It's Brian Christgau, spelled CHRISTGAU. Unlike JD's rather novel spelling of my name. Did you catch that, bro?
Oh, did I miss? Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Seriously, I gotta bust your chops about that, but do not feel bad because I get Chris Gann, Chris Gall, Chris Gnu. So
yes, I know it gets it right.
Christgua isn't that much of a stretch.
But I've had you on a few times. I think this is the first time I screwed it up. So
yeah, so it's all good, brother. We're good.
So that's why I can't do these things at 3 a.m. You're not supposed to do titles and stuff.
God, yeah. Oh, dude, yeah. Been there, done that.
Exactly. All right. So let's get down to business. I got questions for everyone.
Yes.
You know what? There's been
Oh my God. We lost Matt. Man down.
Man down!
You have a cat? I thought a cat attacked you.
No, do you think I could have all of this on these shelves?
Never.
With
No,
a
my
cat?
all my stuff is behind glass for that very reason.
Yep. Bing, bing,
Yeah.
bing, bing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm between
Yeah.
cats right now, unfortunately.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I don't let mine in my room. I don't let mine in this space. So yeah, I know what you mean. All right. So there's been a huge thing about talking about marketing and planning, and my question is there anyone whose advice we should be following when it comes down to marketing and selling our wares, whether it be on Kickstarter, Diamond, or whatever? Like, who do you guys go to for that type of information that's worked for you? Because there's a lot of different people giving out all sorts of different information, and not all of it's going to fit us, right? Some of it fits, some of it doesn't. So who do you go to for that type of advice? Let's start with Mr. Brian.
Oh, with me? I probably have like the least to offer. Oh God, with marketing, boy, it's a real challenge. Because we're not in the mainstream, and how do we get our books out there in front of people? The biggest challenge in marketing is just getting people to know that we exist. And
yes.
Yeah, obviously you want like a really dope trailer if you can make one. If you have it's so frustrating because I tried even doing some local marketing, which it used to be a thing. If I had books left over from a convention, I would go to the LCS and be like, "Hey, you want comics from like a local creator? I'll sign them and everything, right?" And it was just a real kick seeing my book there on the shelves. And now the LCSs in my area don't sell comic books anymore. So
that kind of defeats being an LCS, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Well, I mean, you can imagine how I felt. Yeah. No, I mean, I walked into the LCS. It's been the first time I'd been there since the Rona and the lockdown, right? And I bring in like a little suitcase, with the little wheels and everything, full of comics. And I look around and I see action figures and I see anime figurines and toys and Warhammer 40K. I see everything except comic books.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
And I go, and the place is packed, right? The place is packed and busy as hell. And everybody's there for like Funko Pops. And nobody's there for nobody's there for comic books. Yeah, no, it's sad. It's sad and frustrating.
Problem.
Yeah.
I guess,
Right?
but I don't.
You get
Does
it from
anybody
Walmart.
Get Funko Pops? I sure as heck don't. Like, I objectively understand that people buy them, but I don't have any clue why.
I don't either.
Love them. People love them.
Well,
I know,
because you're looking at.
I don't get it though.
I think I can answer that question because you're looking at a lot of stuff that doesn't have merchandising. So if it's a show that doesn't have normal merchandising, action figures or whatever the case is, Funko Pop will pick it up, and now you have something that's like the show.
I suppose. I just think
That's a
they're
good
ugly.
point. Yeah, exactly. I just think they're ugly. They don't look cool. There's nothing cool or fly about those things.
The unfortunate thing is,
How
Funko
dare you
as
say
a
that about
company,
Jon
yeah,
Snow.
but here's the thing: Funko as a company can make good quality figures,
Right.
Yeah.
but the
Right.
pops are hideous.
Right. Now, Laurie, were you showing off a man with no name there?
This is my comic.
See?
You guys are all bashing the Funko Pops, but people are backing them on my campaign
Oh,
right
I don't
now.
doubt.
Which is
I don't
awesome.
doubt.
I just don't get it.
Yeah.
This is my protagonist, Jude St. Clair, the
Gotcha.
cowboy in the Western apocalypse. And
Nice.
I only made one of these in the last campaign, and I didn't think anybody was going to back it. It was one of those, like, I'll throw it up there and whatever if people want it. And, like, the second person grabbed it, and I was like, okay. And then when I finally got it, you know what I mean, it was completed, I posted it online, and everybody's like, okay, how do I get one? And I was
Right.
like, well,
Mhm.
okay then. So it's like you have to listen to what your people are asking you for.
Oh, absolutely.
It's hard.
Yeah.
So Laurie, you're up
Yeah,
next.
and
Who? What? Who? What?
No, Laurie, you're up next because Rosario is trying to throw in. What are you trying to say, Jay? Why don't you say it and then we can
No,
move
I just wanted to interject on the Funko thing. After New York Comic Con this weekend, there's still people biting on that, brother. You know, the line for Funko was wrapped around 3 or 4 times, man.
I don't doubt it.
The eyes.
Like the dog's eyes. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah. So Laurie, who do you go to for marketing advice?
For advice, I go to people who are successfully doing Kickstarters hand over fist, like Tom, and I'm trying to talk to Coffin Comics and Brian Polito, and just to see if they'll give me the time of day, just to see what they have to offer. I don't know, never done it. I also just recently got involved with a publisher, Charter Comics, who's local to Texas. They're from Fort Worth, Texas. So they're marketing my stuff as well. So I'm listening to them and I'm just trying to do my own thing. But last time we were successful, I used a publicist. So he helped me book all the shows and, do the press releases and stuff like that. So you could pick any column, you know what I mean? Column A, B, or C, whatever works for you, or maybe some of each. It's just kind of evolves. I mean, because what worked last time might not work this time, depending on where you are, where your project is, where your fan base is. I mean, Kickstarter can change their algorithm at any time. So it's like what worked for you last time may not work this time. I mean, all social media algorithms have changed since the last time we did a campaign. Let's be honest.
Yeah, they're always changing.
It's always changing. So that marketing that you're used to doing on there needs to evolve as well. So just kind of anybody. I talk to other creatives who are also, doing the same thing. And if they have something like, hey, this really worked, or hey, this didn't work at all. You know what I mean? Then you don't have to waste your time doing that. So I just talk to everybody.
That's the best thing you can do. That's the best thing you can do.
Poll the crowd, poll the audience. I'd like to do that, please.
All right. Katie, you're up. What are your thoughts on it?
I agree with Laurie in the concept of, just asking other people who are in it what they've done, what works, what doesn't, and really just, going through and really just asking yourself objectively why. So, if you're looking at any campaign and saying, okay, this is what attracts me, but also, was it successful? Was it not successful? And, pick that apart. I think that I am not unique in the fact that I try and also imitate just general strategies that I see other creators that I personally like to read. So I know that if I see somebody who's like, oh yeah, I'm going to try Kickstarter now, that was something that got me to want to try it myself. So things like that. And yeah, just looking and trying to figure it out. Like I know MailChimp is something that I saw other creatives using as far as like mailing list stuff. And so I started trying that out and same deal. So just try everything.
Okay. Cool. Marcus?
Yeah, I have the, I guess the experience in marketing that I could fall back on, and that can guide me in a little bit. I used to do it quite a lot in the past life and had some success at it. It's a different ball game for sure with doing comics, everything like that. But everything holds true. And when I was first going into things, I was relying on that a little bit, but I've also made sure that I canvas as many creators as I can, from small guys who are doing things their own to big, people like the big two. I recall ZM Thomas over at Source Point, who did the Bible 2. He really put a bug in my ear about doing things properly. I talked to Amanda Connor. I talked to Jimmy Palmiotti. I talked to just anybody who would give me the time and listen, and remembered a lot of things that my old boss used to tell me, and that's that what worked for you yesterday may not work today, and that hope is not a strategy. You cannot hope that your Kickstarter will do well. You cannot hope that you will get backers. You cannot hope that anything will happen. You have to do the work, no matter how small it is. And that's what I go forward with. So whether it's from just engaging people on social media, getting our mailing list down, and then seeing that grow, seeing the community of people who support Odyssey grow, talking to other creators, going to cons. I do whatever I can within the sphere that I'm able to. I run social media ads. So whatever I can, I make sure that I collect the data. I see sort of where things are trending, and I'm constantly tweaking over the course. So like the campaign we just wrapped up with, the 35 days. The way I had it set up, I was anticipating sort of like our last campaign. I did the exact same things, but I did probably 4 times the work pre-launch than the previous campaign. Last campaign, we were funded in 3 days. Go into this one, and it took goddamn like 33 out of the 35 days to like hit the funding goal on a very attainable goal in a very lean project that should have easily been able to hit that. And it just goes to show, like I couldn't go in. I tried it, set it up the same way. It wasn't working, so I had to go back and tweak. I had to be a lot more aggressive on social media ads. I had to be a lot more aggressive on how I was communicating on Twitter and things like that until it finally started to crescendo, and then the back end support came in, and then rush, and it finally happened. So it's hard too, because you can get disheartened, and especially when you're in that middle slog of a campaign and the funding and the back end isn't coming. But that's why I always go to it. Hope isn't a strategy. You got to keep doing the work. Keep doing the work. When you're sick of hearing your own goddamn voice, you're tired of posting stuff, you're tired of spamming links, keep going. It's the only way it's going to happen.
Yeah, what Marcus just said.
I agree. I mean, I spoke to one guy, and he was like, well, how much posting you're doing a day? And he was just like, look, it doesn't matter how much posting you're doing a day. You should be doing it 10 times more.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
There it
nuts.
is.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mr.
I'm
Lanning.
bad about that sometimes.
Yep. Mr. Lanning, what are your thoughts?
Oh boy. Well, I'll put it this way: if I'm going to look at somebody's campaign, I don't want to look at somebody who has been in the business and has been making a lot of money since the 90s. Because people who have been around, they already have a following. I need to look at people who started the same way I did, in order for and came up and how they're succeeding in this. Starting from the same starting plane that I did. I didn't work for DC. I don't work for Marvel, and so I have to look at that. Then I want to look at people who change up their campaigns every once in a while because they're trying something too, and then I can look at that and judge for myself as well. This works. This doesn't work, and so on and so forth. And I guess third, I also go by what I don't like to see. I don't want to see memes about your campaign. Sorry. And if that's what you're putting out there and it doesn't attract me, then why do I think that it would attract somebody else if I did it? And that's how I look at it. So I could be successful, it could not be. But if you're continually like you're saying, you've posted so much, then you haven't posted enough. I totally disagree with that statement, because I have seen now campaigns of people who have posted so much that they're not even reaching that goal because they have annoyed people so badly, and nobody wants to see it anymore. I know who Brian is. I know Six Gun Gorilla. The man's on his 8th issue. I'll look at Brian because look, when we walked in, Laurie knew who he was when he said Six Gun Gorilla. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm saying. Those are the people that I like to look at. People who have been in the business for 20, 30 years and who was an awesome penciler at DC, and now he comes out and has a $250,000 campaign. That don't mean much to me. I didn't have a 20-year campaign I didn't have a 20-year career at DC. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
It does. Mr. Lanning, you're a mean man. I like it.
Well, just being honest. That's it.
Like it is.
Exactly.
I'm just being honest. I look at JD. I know JD Rosario. I know JD Calderon. I didn't know y'all because you worked for a big business company, but because of marketing tactics, seeing some of the same stuff, they post so much they end up. Yeah. And I'm privy to a lot of people who are a couple of people who diligently are looking for ways and what makes Kickstarters better. Mm-hmm. And not to name drop, but they know who they are. But yeah. So, and I like to see that. If somebody, okay, this worked, what about if we change it up here? It's people who aren't afraid to change something and try something, and don't post a lot. Anyway, that's it.
That's fair. All right. Cool. Mr. Rosario, what are you thinking?
I'm going with a lot of what the panel is saying. I'm agreeing with everybody here, but even the ones that you don't like, you're learning from it as well. You're learning what not to do. Right?
Yeah.
So you got to look at everyone's campaign. I mean, you're doing as much research as when you were back in school and what to do and what not to do, looking at everyone else's campaigns. And you got to try everything, because what worked this month or in this campaign did not work on the last one, or vice versa. Like, my newsletter is bombing, right? And I've got almost 4,000 people on my newsletter. I'm getting less than an 11% open rate, right? And then less than a 5% click rate on that open rate. That's like, God, right?
I did hope you're actually converting any of those 5 people.
So right now it's a waste of time. Yet on my last campaign, dude, I was firing it up through the newsletter alone, right? On the Facebook group that I got for Unstoppable Comics, I've got over 6,000 people there. I'm putting up ads because whatever the algorithm is or not, I gotta hit as many people, and I gotta hit as many different setups that I have for the people that I'm trying to reach. And I'm sorry, Lanning family. I'm one of the people that I'm throwing it out there, baby, because I may have, upset or ignored you, but there's.
Wait, now I gotta go see if you're muted because I don't see you. No, that's not true. No.
Of other people I haven't reached yet, and that's the key. This is business, right? And it is just as harder to retain a customer than it is to find a new customer. And how many times do you got people on a campaign that don't even come back because they didn't even know you ran a campaign?
Right.
So silly.
Yeah. So, I mean, I got to fire it up, brother. I'm doing 2 updates a day on the Kickstarter alone, just to show them that I'm still being engaged in the project. I'm running out of shit to talk about.
Right. Yeah. And one of the I think that's really kind of painful is that, of course, you have to hustle. And you have to get on as many live streams as you can. Get your out there as much as possible. But we're all in these bubbles. And so it's all about trying to connect that bubble to another bubble or to break into another bubble.
Right.
Once again, just getting people just to know that you exist and that your book is out there. That's 95% of the battle, because as long as you have a very good product, as long as you have a book that's well made and that comes from the heart, that is sincere, people will take right to it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And even more reason I'll be listening to Brian. So
I don't know if I'm the guy you want to be listening to.
No, but I have respect. I know everybody on this panel, so I have respect for every one of you. Don't take that the wrong way.
I was like, what?
Well, here's the thing, and here's the thing. I've run 5 or 6 successful campaigns, but I always remind people that I had 3 first campaigns.
Gotcha.
Right, the first 2 bombed horribly. It was that third one, and that's why it's so important when we get newcomers into the scene. They can learn a lot from our successes, but they can especially learn from our blunders.
Yeah.
And it's also important to let them know when they've messed up, it looks like their campaign's not going to make it, that they can take another shot.
Yeah, that's not the end all.
No.
And there has to be a certain level of grace in that too.
Of course.
I see a lot of people get really disheartened and they go and they start minging on social media about something that happened. Like, no. It's people have to remember the majority of Kickstarters fail. That's what people don't tend to understand. You see so making 100K, making 200K, you have this level of I could throw it on Kickstarter. It's going to be successful because it's on Kickstarter. Nah, man, they don't go like that. So, and even if you do everything right, you got a great project, sometimes it just doesn't happen. And you have to, be graceful about that, reload, try to lock into what you did wrong, lock into what you did right, come back again, and then hopefully do it. Typically, if I see a Kickstarter that failed and they throw it up again, it gets funded because they learned something in that process.
Yeah.
Marcus, I want to chime in for a second. This weekend I was at New York Comic Con, and one of the panels I was at had Oriana Lockhart from Kickstarter, right? The comics lead of the campaign of the platform, excuse me. And she threw a few numbers out there, and she said most campaigns that hit 25 backers are most likely to fund. 73% of all comic book campaigns that drop on Kickstarter are funded. So the numbers are going in our favor.
That is good.
And when I was speaking of the whole of Kickstarter, not specifically.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Comic books is a higher threshold. I think since the core audience is there more and more.
And Kickstarter creators, right? Those that use the platform for comic books are most likely to fulfill their projects as opposed to any other category on Kickstarter.
That's awesome. That says a lot about our community, right?
You ever
Yeah,
met
definitely
anything
does.
technology-wise on Kickstarter, like a piece of tech or something like that?
Ugh.
I
Especially
saw
if
one.
you're depending on like overseas, warehouses and production. It's really hard right now. Whew.
It is.
I may get this wrong. I don't know if it was last year, the last 6 months, but comic books on Kickstarter raised over $23 million.
Yes, people, see? This
Yeah.
is where your new entertainment
it was
is.
hot.
Yes.
We are not
Number one
regurgitated
category.
material on Netflix, right? How many sequels do we have to have?
I
How
know.
many blunders do we have to have? I
I
mean,
know.
how many reboots? Come on. This is
We're
where all
here.
your new stuff
We're here.
is.
Yes,
It's right
yes.
here
I
on
mean,
this page.
Those of us that do this, right? Our community, whatever you want to call us, whatever label you want to throw on us, right? Those of us who tied up our boots and are doing it ourselves with our books are doing a hell of a lot more than any other professional in the bigger companies have done. Artists that are coming right out of the gate, do you think they know how to market, manage a project? No. You think they know how to
Customer service.
self-edit
Right.
and get stuff
Right.
done on time?
Jay, we're getting a little bit off the subject.
I'm
Shiny things.
I'm here with
nice.
this, bro.
It's nice patting ourselves on the butt every now and again, but
It's not even on the back. You gotta reach lower.
I'm sorry. The reason why I'm saying this is because during this campaign, Milton Greep, I don't know if you guys know who Milton Greep is. He's the one who runs the ICV2, and he was one of the last distributor competitors to Diamond way
Capital
back before, right? Capital City. He was up there and he was throwing numbers out there, and he gave our set of people, right? Our set of developers, creators. He called us the author category. Those of us who do Kickstarters, those of us who do webtoons, stuff like that. Those of us who are bootstrapping it on our own. But then he also said that we weren't professionals, and that fired me the fuck out. That really pissed me off because just for those reasons I was mentioning a moment ago.
I'll get him. Tell me where he is.
So what was his
I had
rationale?
to get that out.
I'm curious what he considers a professional.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's interesting to discuss because the thing is like professionals means different things for different people. Typically, is if you make a living from what you're doing, you're considered a professional at that craft. Right. So that's typically what that means. I worked professionally as a writer for a few years in the 90s. I didn't like it, so I stopped doing that. I just didn't pursue it any further because I just didn't like it. I hate pitching. I hate dealing with editors. On that level.
Yeah, but see, here we're talking about this, right? And the lower tier levels of the image publishers, okay, the people that are putting books out on Image, they're making less than $15 a page on their
that's
stuff.
what I was wondering.
And how are you making a living at that? That's not making a living.
Well, that's
exactly
the way they hook people in is, well, look, you're going to be able to put this on your resume. I worked for Marvel. I worked for DC.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, where are they getting the writers? They're getting the writers from Twitter. Where are they getting their artists? They're getting their artists from Tumblr. And that's why American comic books are dying.
So you basically you're saying it's the professional, it's the equivalent of you get exposure. It's like the professional exposure.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
funny that they say, "Oh, I won't work for
Yeah.
exposure." Motherfucker,
Right.
you are.
I had a guy, I'm not going to name names, who saw the Six Gun Gorilla trailer and went nuts.
Okay.
I mean, went nuts. Like, he was sending me DMs like, "Are you there yet? Are you there yet? Are you there yet?" Right? Because he couldn't wait to talk to me. And I was like, I was like, "Oh, like, glad that you're interested." And he's a publisher. And so his attitude was, "Okay, well, here's the thing. I get the whole rights. I get everything, the whole enchilada. I get all the
Have a good
marketing,
night. We're done here.
lunch boxes, theme park rides. I mean, if you've ever seen any of these contracts, they're insanely detailed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you get jack shit.
Like, why would anybody sign that? You get to have my entire
Exposure.
property.
Exactly.
Exposure.
I was like, I was ready to expose my ass to him. Was what I was
It's going to expose something to it, right?
Yes. And it. Now I knew well enough just to blow this guy off, right, and just be like, "See ya."
Yeah, bye.
But it really, like, made my heart ache to look at all of the people that said yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
That
And
are working real hard for nothing in return.
exactly. And he now owns their IPs and is making these really horrible, cringy CGI computer animated movies based on their properties, and they get nothing.
Oh, wow.
So, Brian, did you actually get a physical contract? Did you read like a PDF that you printed out?
Not from this guy, because I immediately was just like, because I've been through this before, right?
Yeah.
He was interested in making. He wasn't interested in the comic. He was interested in an animated feature, and I saw what his animated features looked like, and I was just like, I'd much rather that there be no Six Gun Gorilla movie than like,
Right.
really
Damn.
lousy one.
Not bad, eh?
Awful,
Yeah, 'cause
fantastic.
I've gotten a number of those contracts, and usually what I do is I pull out a Sharpie, and I just strike out everything, and then I send it back to them. And then what I usually do is I scan it, and then I re-PDF it, and then I send them that. I said, "This is what I'm willing to sign," and that's how I know if they're serious.
Right.
And it's just So.
And 99% of the time they're not.
No, they're not. Yep. All right.
Because they're
Move
looking
on.
for the people that are going to just give away all of their rights. For
Right.
nothing.
Yeah.
Because they're
Exactly.
desperate, and to me that's such a scummy thing to do, is to prey on people's dreams like that.
Terrible.
Awful.
Vampires.
Awful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
But it's it's not just our community. I don't know if you guys know what's happening in the music world right now. I don't know if you guys know Diddy, Puff Daddy, as he used to be known, right? Bad Boy Records way back when. So one of his talent is coming out exposing the contracts and stuff like that. A guy by the name of Mace, and he was telling, he's talking about how it's very unsavoryly. I'm trying to be nice the way I'm saying it, but he's calling Diddy out. He was dropping shitty contracts, right? And he was taking advantage of people like like Biggie, Black Rob, Craig Mack, stuff like that, and they're not around anymore to repeal his contracts, right? Yet Mace is still around, and he's like, I don't care what type of litigation you could throw at me, the contracts you had to sign way back when were shitty. So it's not just in our community, not just in our industry.
Right.
There's always somebody preying upon somebody doing the hard work.
Criminals. It's funny. It's like these people are in a position where if they have money, they could actually help us. They could make a difference. They could invest in the community. They could help either just make a place where everybody can post their stuff, kind of like a Marvel or DC of Indie Comics, where it's like, it's just a page with everybody's icon. You can click on it and go to my webpage, but it's all in the same place. There is a place, that someone could help us, but they're too busy doing shyster stuff where it's like make themselves rich.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's move on. Mr. Rosario, ask you a question.
Yes. Oh, well, thank you, sir. I appreciate you giving me the platform
Well, it took long enough to, you kept interjecting, so it's just like,
Because I'm excited talking about the business of comic books, bro. Everybody here is bringing up good stuff, and I'm like, yes, and don't forget about this. I mean, let me give you a little bit of compliment over here. You brought a very good panel together. All right. Oh, you like that, right? You like I didn't appreciate myself.
I thought
You fucking twisting that so you don't try to shit on me later.
Some are always in it for themselves, aren't they? Damn comic book people.
Anyway.
All right. Look, nobody's going to promote you better than you promote yourself, right?
Right.
And the way of doing things today, do you think you need to have your own live stream and develop your crowd through that to promote your content?
All right.
Stop, Sam.
Let's start with Marcus.
This is actually a pretty topical thing because I've been thinking a lot about this, and I think about it in terms of what's really like the goal of a creator and what you're trying to do and things like that, especially in the indie space. And a lot of us know typically, if you ever work a con and things like that, sometimes people aren't buying your book or buying your comic or buying your story, they're buying you. So your ability to sell yourself is just as important as your ability to sell your comics. And I think there's a lot of creators that doesn't do that. And also people, that's just the world we live in now. People want the engagement, they want the access, for better or worse, for whatever they intend to do with that access to you, but they want it. And I think it is an important thing to give yourself a platform. You don't have to do a live stream if you don't want to. You don't have to make it this big YouTube channel and whole production and everything, but you have to find your niche and find your way to reach out and communicate. It can be your newsletter. It can be your personal blog, whatever you want to do, but you have to find an avenue to which you can start having that engagement and that interactivity with people who are fans or people who will be fans. And I think that's an important thing in building up yourself. It's an important thing in building up your brand. I personally would love to do it. And I would love to have an Odyssey YouTube channel or something like that. But I basically am Odyssey Comics. I'm the sole one official person working in there, and I'm managing 9, about to be 10 titles right now and 35 creators. I ain't got the time. So it's one of those things where I have to think about it and find a method that works for me and where I can, do it on my pace and not kill myself and actually have time to sleep and eat and do all those sort of things. So I think it's important. Is it going to be a mandatory thing? Tough to say, but you do need to have a platform. You have to develop something for yourself. And I think that's, if you're going to be truly, truly, truly successful and reach the absolute potential, what you have to do is kind of a prerequisite with where the industry is going right now.
Cool. Katie, what are your thoughts?
I agree. I mean, I know that I don't personally, try and sell myself too particularly much. Going into this whole comics thing, I can also sing. And I, in high school, took 0 art classes because I was in choir. And so I made the objective decision, I want to do comics because it's something that I can create something new for. As opposed to music, I was never able to write anything worth a damn. And so I made that decision for that reason. But objectively, if I were to try and go out there and say, okay, this is everything that I can do, maybe, but it distracts from the art at the same time, if that makes sense. So that's, for me, that's the one reason that A, it hasn't happened yet, or B, frankly, I already have quite a few things distracting from the comic. But that's just life. But from the standpoint of, could it make something a heck of a lot more successful? I think that it absolutely has a potential, whether it be, again, through Twitch streaming you drawing, or, say if I were to try and make I don't know, just something to be more visual, separate from the comic, that could be cool. But it's just like anything else. You're always chasing whatever's cool. And I think that realistically, over the last 2 years, people that have made huge strides have been people who've almost lived with other people through the disaster that has been the pandemic. And so people that are really just kind of sharing their life story, whether that be through creating art or whatnot, is really powerful. And it certainly should not be ignored.
Amen.
So,
True.
but it also takes a heck of a lot of bravery. Because I know for myself,
does.
like, I'm more introverted than I think a lot of successful creators that I look up to tend to at least exhibit. Whether or not that's actually based in any reality, Lord knows. But that's the thing, is that it's all about, this is the persona that people project. And personally, I've done a heck of a lot more exhibition of my own comic at cons than anything digital. And, you know, the digital landscape, while I've been doing it the whole time, has definitely grown over the last 2 years. And at cons, you know, it's all about keeping the image consistent, but also keeping it vibrant and changing enough that you keep new people guessing. But at the same time, I can't count the number of people that have come to the table and said, I've seen you at X, Y, and Z location, but now I'm actually stopping. And you never know when that's going to happen. The idea that, you know, you think, I've been doing this for so long, but, you know, so people are probably only ever going to buy the new stuff, but there's always going to be completely new customers that are starting from the very beginning of your thing. And you can't ever discount that. Granted, you know, keeping new people is, in my opinion, easier than, like Brian was saying, keeping the old customers engaged. And, you know, that's, at the end of the day, I think, more worthwhile, because it's, you know, keeping something that's you already have. But it's, yeah, you just got to keep juggling.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. Laurie, what are you thinking?
I'm not. No. I think having a platform is, of course, important. I'm not going to reiterate what everybody said, because all of that is very valid. But I like having a platform, even when it's just like I'm not Kickstartering or I'm not fulfilling, things are just in production, but it keeps me still relevant. Like, people still see my face. People can hear me talk about whatever is going on. And I can do some good by promoting other people's projects on my show. So people can see other things, you know. And if you're not interested in having your face on my show or personality, put your trailer on my show. Like, we've played Brian's 6-Gun Gorilla I don't know how many times, to the point where I could recite it, you know what I mean? But it's like, I've never met Brian until today.
Oh, wow.
So if you can find your avenue, whether, you know, any which way, I would say definitely you need to do that in this day and age, where it's like, not everybody wants to know who you are. Everybody wants to actually know your beliefs before they back you. It's like, oh my God, what's Laurie's beliefs on veganism? And it's like, really, you need to know this before you go read my comic where I kill people left and right. I mean, whatever. It is what it is. But people just want to see you. They buy you. It's like I did something extra where it's like, we have the comic, but then we have riddles. I have short films out there, so I have different ways that people can even engage my world, where it's like, you can read the comic, you can solve the riddles, you can fall down the rabbit hole, you can watch all the creepy things that I post, you can be scared by my content, which I enjoy. I can scare my fans. So I have this like real cute face. I'm like, hello, I'm Laurie. I'm going to scare the shit out of you with my stuff. It's fun. Come along for the ride. But it's like, you just have fun with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't take yourself too seriously. If you're going to put yourself out there, realize that's what you're doing. There's going to be trolls. There's going to be all sorts of fun stuff that you deal with as well. And that's my thoughts. Thanks for coming for my TED Talk.
As she waves around a knife.
I'm like, yeah, and I gesticulate with a knife most of the time. It's kind of like my
you don't like it, you know what I'm doing. No, with that knife, you're like, hey, if you don't like what I'm saying,
hey,
you know
look,
what I'm
I come find you. Yeah.
There you go.
This is just today's. I usually have a karambit, which I'm flicking around. And he's gonna bring out his. Got a freaking claymore over there, Brian.
I've been on streams before where there's this thing, right? I'm a sword collector, and I'm also a fencer, right? And
so we're friends. Oh my gosh!
So I did this thing called sword waggling. Right?
Yes.
And I've had friends come over and I was like, hey, what's up? And they're just like, oh, what are you doing? And I've been on streams where I'm just like, Yeah, exactly.
Straightening my wrists when I cut watermelons like this.
Nice.
That's a one-handed sword. That's nice.
Oh, this?
Is
Yeah,
it,
it's a Viking Uthbert sword, yeah.
is it sharp?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm just checking. Some people have dull ones for taking to
Yeah.
cons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is fine, but yeah, I actually pool noodles are probably my favorite tamashigiri, like cutting targets, because if your edge
Yeah.
alignment is off, they'll just go whoa, 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 and
Yep.
just like laugh at you, mock you.
It's like one of those wacky
That is true.
inflatable waving tube men, you know?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
So, Brian, I feel like we're the same person. We collect knives and swords and write westerns.
There you
Saying.
go.
I'm just
There you
saying.
go.
I could tell you're a martial artist when you start doing this, and I was like, oh, we're gonna be friends.
Most definitely.
Cool.
Well, that's the thing. That's part of the scene too, is finding kindred spirits.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, Brian, you're up. So continue.
Oh, yeah. The fans these days, and it's not just obviously in comics, it's across the board. They expect to have access to you and direct access. And one of the things I've actually found to be a great joy in crowdfunding is that I handle fulfillment myself. So if I get a damaged book from Humanoids, for instance, right? I could call customer service. I can't talk directly to the creator and be like, man, I got a banged up book, right? So that gives me the opportunity to rectify the situation, right? I could send them a new book. It's especially brutal if it's, I got a book that somebody got a book from me that looked like it had been microwaved.
Right.
On the exterior, the Gemini was pristine. On the inside, it looked like paper mache, right? And I had to eat those $30 to send that person a new book. But you do that, first of all, because it's the right thing to do, right? But also, even if you're an asshole, it's the right thing to do just from a business perspective, because people don't forget that. If somebody gets a late book from me, right? If I'm late in getting a book to somebody, there's like an extra book in there. I always throw in something extra to say, to apologize, mea culpa. As for putting yourself out there, marketing yourself, yeah, it's something that I think is unfortunately essential, given the current state of the crowdfunding market. But it's something that people shouldn't be too intimidated by. Look, the first stream that I was on, I was stiff as fuck. I was like, "Here's my book. Do you want to buy my book?" Right. It was just awful, cringe-tastic. But then I got to a point where I was doing it so much that I got to that sweet spot, and that sweet spot is when you cease to give a shit. And once you cease to give a shit, something surprising happens, and you can actually start having fun. And then you loosen up. You're like, I give zero fucks. And then people really get to see the real
Comics
you.
aren't supposed to be fun, Brian. We're supposed to hate our lives.
Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing, too.
Damn, Marvel. No.
That's another thing, too, that I think that's really essential for any of us. When we're feeling down, when we're feeling discouraged, we have to kind of smack ourselves upside the head and go, wait a second. I'm making comic books. How cool is that? You have to keep that gee whiz kid alive inside of you, and also be authentic, and just be yourself. I mean, some people are natural characters, right? But don't try to be a character. Don't play a character. Let people see the real you in as much as you can show it to them. And they will gravitate. They're more likely to give your work a try. Yep. And then, if you have a solid book, you got them.
All right, cool. Let me put this up. Daphne says, I really believe that my shows with Nita really helped my last campaigns reach the goals that they did. Then if I didn't do any live streams, there's a real connection there. There you
Absolutely.
go.
Absolutely. And it's nice when you're doing live shows where people can interact with you, because they might ask questions that maybe no one has thought of before. and you get to answer it, right there. Instead of watching the pre-records they're great too, but that interaction is so much fun. My world is pretty messed up. So when people are like, well, what would happen if this happened? I'll be like, well, this terrible thing would happen. And then it's like, yeah, it's great. She's warped. Let's get her book.
Nice. Mr. Lanning, how do you feel?
Don't mind me over here. I'm just trying to get some light. Losing daylight quick over here.
Okay, when you say live stream, you mean like having your own live stream, JD?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I don't think it's necessary.
Okay.
I think it helps if you're on other people's here and there, like this show or what have you. But again, because it helps to network, it helps people to see you. But I'm not positive. I don't think Rob Maltari has his own live stream. Does he? Does he have his own show? See, I don't even know that he has his own show.
He only does it when he's campaigning.
Well, but that's marketing. So okay, then let me ask that question. Then, do you mean live stream like a weekly live stream, or do you mean live stream like when you're coming out like a infomercial?
I don't know. Either one works. I understand the infomercial setup, but at the same time, if you're doing it even when you're not campaigning, you're still gathering followers, which you need for when you have the eventual campaign.
Right. Mm. And if I could just interject here for a second, if you're going to do a weekly live stream, I would recommend doing what I did, which was make sure it's about something that you can do in your sleep. Right. Mm-hmm. So I made mine, for instance, about horror movies. Mm-hmm. Right. I can talk about horror movies in my sleep, and with a hangover and like a concussion. So the way
I want to see that show. Can we have that? Well, maybe not the concussion, but I want to see that show.
I want to be on there when you're talking about Willy Wonka being a horror movie, because it is.
Well, it's by Roald Dahl. Roald Dahl wrote some pretty twisted stuff.
Yeah, Thank you, Brian. You see, I had my thing the other day with JD, and they were making fun of me because they were like, "Oh, no, Willy Wonka is not a horror movie. Any movie that kills kids for eating candy is a horror movie."
Well, it's like a Grimm's fairy tale,
man.
It was
okay. And the Grimm's fairy tales, mind you, not the Disney versions, the original are brutal.
Back to Michael C. Lanning.
But yes, I'm sorry.
Cut him off. Give him back his time.
Well, no, that's fine. Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, but you say you're doing a live stream on something that's outside just your comic. It's something completely different, or not necessarily completely different, but something that will draw people in. But the question is, can you still have a following in marketing without having a live stream show? If am I correct?
Either way you want to apply it. I mean, if it gives you a different perspective.
Because, like, for instance, like, I do hear a lot about people. Now, I saw JD Calderon. I know him from shows here and there. Of course, I know you from probably here, which opens up the door for a lot of people. And that, but also, like for instance, like Rob Maltari or even Henri. And Henri has his own show. Henri Compton. I can't remember his. Yeah, he has his own show, but that's not where I know him from. So. I don't think it's this.
At cons, right?
There you go. See, there you go. Yeah.
Good dude, bro. Good dude.
But look at the people who are something today that didn't, and this kind of goes back. People who were independents or whatever that didn't have the live stream that was able, they still worked their ass off and got where they were without it. So I don't think it's necessary. I think it's good. I think it's a useful tool. I think it's a tool that if it's there, use it. But if it's going to cost you from doing the real work, if it's going to cost you, if you're a writer or you're an artist, and it's costing you time away from that, and you can't fulfill what you need to fulfill, then you need to step back. That it has to be some type of management. Just like Brian said, he could do his show in his sleep because it's something that he loves to do. I wouldn't, if you're going to live stream, don't do it 5 or 6 times a week. I mean, two tops, maybe 3, but yeah, because you can come on there and you can not be prepared for whatever you're talking about, and that could look worse for you than not live streaming at all. So, yeah, I think it's possible, but you have to show up on a show every once in a while, because besides that, you enjoy doing it anyway. You get to network with people. You get to meet people that you haven't met before.
Right.
So it's basically the same thing as a con in that sense, on being on a panel. Right now, this is a panel. This is a panel, you know?
Yeah.
So, and now, you know, besides people that have been on the show with me before, there's not many people that have heard of me. But now I've been on this panel, you know, somebody's watching it. There you go. You know, oh, I remember that asshole.
Man. Since I saw your mug.
Right? So,
How you doing,
see?
right?
Yeah, right.
It's been a
And see,
while.
and I do live streams. So what does that tell you? So,
The guy who's doing it promotes against it. Way to go.
yeah.
So Damien says, having done both, I find more fun to do a looser, more audience-inclusive show like this. Now that I don't, I have a show anymore. I miss it. All right, well.
Okay.
He says, looser format tends to engage more. There you go. So he misses his show. He used to do one with the Dingoes.
Dastardly
And
Dingoes, yeah.
unfortunately, they're on hiatus for a little bit. They'll be
You
back.
know, one thing I forgot to mention too is spaces on Twitter are like blowing up. So if you don't have the ability to do something regularly, you're sitting at home on a Wednesday night, you got a couple hours to burn, throw up a space on Twitter, talk about whatever random shit comes across. Like I've seen so many people really build following and engagement from doing things like that. So even if you can't do a dedicated live stream, that's probably something I'm going to look towards more, because it can be looser, like I said, and then just shooting the shit, getting some good people to talk to, and that's all it really comes down to.
Yep.
That's
My
how
show's
I
like herding cats. They're herding.
Herding, H-E-R-D, right?
2 hours of everybody's like, look at this shiny thing and blah, blah,
Yes,
blah.
yeah.
And look at that shiny thing and blah, blah. Yeah, that's my show.
Yeah, and I'm ADD as fuck to begin
So-
with, so I appreciate you,
Come on,
Laurie,
show them.
for
You're
bring.
80, come right on. You'll fit right in. It'll be great.
Yeah.
Everybody's
But the thing-
cool.
That's how I started. That's how I started this show, right? I was home during COVID. Oh, he's taunting me because he owes me those pins.
That's dope. Yeah, well,
Isn't it right?
100%.
You know, 'cause-
Those is. I've been using them to promote.
yeah, he's yet to fulfill his last campaign, but he's running one currently.
Dude,
Oh,
What? You're not supposed to do that? I didn't
and
know.
then there's the part. That part's about live stream. People let your business come out.
No, I have fulfilled everyone's
No, you haven't.
order except for Calderon.
Except for
And I've been
JD
to his
Calderon.
house
He has the
3
balls to come
times
on his show.
since my campaign has been over.
That's what I say, yo. You live in the same city. What the hell?
I still gotta drive, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been to my house 3 times since his last campaign ended.
So what he's saying is there really is no excuse.
So you just
Well-
need to go to his house and go get your stuff.
Opposite. What I'm
No,
saying
he
is,
lives.
as long as I have his stuff,
He lives in the
he'll
boonies.
always have new things coming in. That's it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
He'll always
Like,
be-
all right, come on, JD.
Something to look forward to
go.
perpetually.
My
Yeah.
things.
Exactly. Well,
Just
to
show up and
answer,
start taking extra things. This is mine and this is mine.
Yeah.
Mine. This is going home with me. Taking this too.
but to answer the question, that's how I started this show during COVID. I just started throwing up random live streams. I would just get bored. I was like, I would write for 3 hours and I'd be like, what am I gonna do now? You know, and I'm like, I did the script is done. I just got editing's for tomorrow, not for today. So I'm like, what am I gonna do now? And I would throw up a random stream, just ask people to come in. So that's how this thing started. It was just like, getting to meet people because I miss shows, and that's primarily where I would meet other creators. And I found this, where else am I gonna meet? Like I met Jay doing this, right? And I mean, we have very kindred spirits. We went through a lot of the same things. We live in the same city, and we found we grew up in the same areas. He would buy comic books from my father's old bodega, right?
I didn't even know it. Yeah.
That's
We didn't know until we started doing this thing. So that's what
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
It's that networking. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it, dude. This is not just marketing. This is networking, right?
Yeah.
This is the panel.
Yeah.
This is where you get to let your hair down a little bit, because as a creator, we are introverted, right?
Yeah.
Whether
I was gonna say
by
something about
choice
her.
or by our production, right? Because your head is in the books or on the screen or whatever, and your interaction with other people is limited, especially during the pandemic. Nobody was doing conventions, right? So, like you said, see, this is right. This is the panel that you needed to do. This is the way you need to expose yourself. I didn't want to do live streams. I didn't want to host my own. I just started one out of the necessity, because I can't be on everyone else's. I have an awkward time schedule, right? Whereas most people doing live streams, oh, I'm going to start at 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, 11 o'clock? I get up in 2 hours for work. I can't. I can't.
Yeah, right.
I go to bed early. So it was a necessity to do this. But it paid dividends because it also led to me having the greatest launch I've ever had on a book with a live stream. We have fun. We do giveaways. It's like I'm welcoming people into my home, right? I'm playing host for a little while. And that's what JD's doing. He's being a gracious host. He's not serving, drinks and snacks, but whatever, right? He's still being a host in his living room. And that's what you're doing. And like you guys are all saying, and ladies, excuse me, you're ingratiating yourself to the people that are out there. You're getting them to learn you because they may not know what your product is about. And they got to figure out who you are sometimes to put a couple bucks your way.
And if I could make another suggestion too, make yourself useful. That's to say, help the people that are just coming in the door behind you.
Oh,
and
yes,
make
absolutely.
yourself available. For instance, the artist that I found, Preston Acevedo, who's working on the newest 6-gun issues. I met him because he had a campaign that looked great, but it was about to fail. And so I reached out to him and let him know, like, hey, look, you're going to be able to relaunch. Everything's going to be fine. You just had bad timing, but you're still going to feel like you got kicked in the nuts. Right? And we became friends. And
Ryan, that's so cool that you did that. It's a hard place for people to be when it's like, I failed. What am I doing?
Because I've been there.
I know. So to be able to be like, hey man, I was in your place, but look where I am now. You know what I mean? It's going to be okay.
Yes.
That's awesome to do.
Yeah, and it's and so like I got rewarded for that, without expecting any kind of a reward. And that's why it's so important to reach out to people that are newcomers and to
absolutely
and to help them in any way, make ourselves available in any way we can to assist them.
100% agree.
Yep, definitely, because it's one of the reasons why I do this show. And I pulled up Laurie's campaign. So what are we looking at here, Laurie? Talk to
us. I was just on this campaign not too long ago.
Were you?
Yeah.
This is my icon right here, peeps. This is the night versus day, good versus evil. With the gold line down the middle that kind of holds everything together. So this is Path of the Pale Rider. We're a Western apocalypse. We're on issue number 2. It's like spaghetti westerns, sci-fi, zombie movies, Mad Max, I Am Legend, Book of Eli, Fallout 4. I could keep going. I'm a big fat nerd. In issue number 1, you'll see references to like Star Wars, DC Comics, Lethal Weapon. You see it all. I just kind of shove it all in there for the people that look for it. So again, in this world, the death process is broken. So people, animals, insects, nothing can die. You don't rest. So your body dies. Like this bear is undead bear. And Jude makes a small decision to pick up a glass and then wakes this motherfucker up. Excuse my language. And bad things happen. So it's like issue number 1, you get to see kind of just the wild in the world and how crazy it is. Number 2, we're onto a town named Santa Claus. And he's looking for a dude who has information about why the dead don't die. That's what Jude's purpose is he's still looking for the answer. Everybody else has kind of moved on a decade into the apocalypse, but that's the Marco DeFillo cover. Marco DeFillo is our artist for the interiors. He does beautiful work.
It looks awesome.
Yeah. So issue number 1 was in color, issue number 1 was in black and white. And right now, if we hit our goal just the way it is, we will do another black and white comic, but we're really pushing for that color stretch goal. We were like $800 shy last campaign. So I really want to focus and see if we can hit that color goal, because you can see these pages are great, but keep scrolling. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh,
Look
yeah.
at the difference.
I'm a black and white stan. I usually prefer black and white to color, but
Yeah.
that's actually superior.
And that's the word I say all the time, Brian. It's funny you said that. I'm like, this is far superior. And this is, again, Marco was coloring this. His color palette that he chose for these is insane. I wouldn't pick any of these colors if I had to color it, and it just works. I don't get it. It's awesome. So yeah, he's been looking for this dude who ends up being like the town drunk, to the point where he's like standing on a table screaming about being judged by God and the wrath of this and that and the other, and spills his drink on a guy and then falls off the table. So this is the important guy he's been looking for, and we'll see what happens. But very much a Western in this issue. We're in a saloon brawls and all the crazy stuff, but we're going to introduce some American Sign Language in purely swear word form. Yeah, there's me looking hella scary. This is like when we were recording the first short film, we had a riot scene. So this was me testing like the arm patches and making sure like I looked mean. But I wasn't actually in that part of the riot film, but so yeah. And then here's Marco. He has like all these professional headshots. He's like beauty boy, and I was just like, man, it was like, which one of these do I pick from? So it's like, okay, this one.
Nice.
He's a good guy. He's kind of shy, so you won't usually see him promoting. It's usually me, just because he'll get on there and be like, I'm the artist. People want to talk to you, sir. Variant covers, check this one out.
Nice.
This is our Christmas cover. This is our Charlie Brown
Wait, a
Christmas
Christmas
tree.
cover?
This
Yes.
is
Tree
the
of woe.
Christmas
I
tree,
love it.
guys. Welcome to Santa Claus. This is the guy at the top. His name is David because he's a star. Has an undead squirrel on it. I mean,
Oh my
just
God.
I love this cover just because it's such an oxymoron where it's like welcome to Santa Claus, but it's like so unwelcoming right there. Rich Parada is doing this cover. He is coloring this week probably. So I'm going to be updating the page and with an updated cover of this guy. But yeah, that's kind of the feel of it. You know what I mean? Western apocalypse, rumble tumble. Here's this page colored.
Oh wow.
Check it.
Yeah.
This is our first stretch goal. Very obtainable. Our goal is 4550. We get to 5K. Everybody gets one of these. 6500. We can do the second issue in color. Look at that.
Cool.
It's Clint Eastwood light across the eyes squint. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that Sergio Leone shot.
Yes. You know.
Oh yeah.
Clack. I love it. 7700. We're gonna go back and color issue number 1. 10 grand. My lady friend Allie, she's my bestie right now. She's gonna do a one shot called well, it's about the Skinner, who is a really nasty character that I introduced in the Choose Your Own Adventure book. So she's gonna do a one shot. 12 grand. I'm gonna slice pumpkins in a red dress on Halloween. I got a bunch of machetes, so I'll let you vote on the machetes or the sledgehammer, and I'm just gonna decimate some pumpkins. 15 grand. Professor Richness, so the Rich Parada in the UK, he's also going to put on a red dress and smash a fruit or vegetable of your choice. It's going to be so freaking funny that we're going to pee our pants. So we got 13 issues of the first arc already written, so we're catching the art up at this point to the story. I'm 9 issues into the second arc. It's looking like it's going to be about 12 issues, and then there will be a third arc, and then we're going to put it to bed. So there is an ending in mind. Here's riddle number 1. Please solve it before you solve riddle number 2. It's a good idea. Scroll down to the bottom. This is the short film from the first Kickstarter, and then the long form of the conspiracy theory video from the second Kickstarter. So we do fun videos. I'm working on some really creepy stuff right now, which will be fun. And of course, here's my friends with campaigns running right now. Sam Vera's, you got it. There's an alien in my toilet. Christopher Brown, Gone Hunting. This is a cool game. It's kind of like Catan meets hunting. So you get to build the board as you play, and you hunt different kind of deer and turkey and whatever. and you roll dice to see if you hit. It's really cool. I have a few of his games, which I've posted pictures of me playing and getting just destroyed by other games of his. So that one's a fun one. And this one, she's when we're talking about supporting new people, she's new, and she hasn't posted yet. But her and I are kind of kindred spirits in the horror realm. It's like people are like, "You can't do horror. You're a girl," and I'm like, "Watch me." You know, it's like this is what I write, and it's good. So. You know, so
hello, Shirley Jackson.
I know.
I was
Like,
thinking Mary Shelley.
Mary Shelley,
you know,
The original.
like we've been around for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm really excited about the Choose Your Own Adventure reward. You can get a 60-page manga size Choose Your Own Adventure where you can walk around in the world and run bounties and probably die after 3 pages. But you get to run it as many times as you want to. Of course, we got all the bundles with the catch-ups and the variant covers. Winner Winner Chicken Dinner is a really popular one because that's the catch-up tier. Here's the Choose Your Own Path. So you get the digital 2, physical copy 2, and then the Choose Your Own Adventure. I just released the color spread cover to that today. I haven't even had a chance to put it on the Kickstarter because I've been on a bunch of shows today. T-shirt level. I'm throwing a keychain in there. It'll be a nice leather stamped, which I'm doing myself. So that one's going to be real nice. Also, Immortality. This Immortality was really big last time where we will draw you into the comic. I got a bunch of these still available for like people coming in new. Everybody that kind of came back that was an Immortality backer went and got the metal cover this time because they're like, I'm already in it, Laurie. I don't need to be like, how many times do you want me to show up and you can kill me again?
People love to get killed in the Tron tier.
That's one of the
They really
perks.
do.
We've had 2 people live. You either show up as undead or we squish you in the comic. And they're gratuitous violence. So it's a fun time. Bones of Despair is kind of a secret one. And if you're brave enough to get this, by all means do it. I have 1 backer on this right now. So you get all the variants and the t-shirt and the keychain, but you get this other thing from me. And if you know how warped I am, it's something that's like you're gonna look at and be like, "Is she okay?" But it's something that's gonna go on your shelf, and it speaks very loudly of this world. And of course, we have the Funko Pop of Jude. These are available. I have max of 50. Again, these are limited to. There'll be as many as people order. Like I'm not ordering any extra of the Funko Pops. So if people order 5, you get 1 of 5. You know what I mean? They're that exclusive. And then, of course, the Singularity level is gone. And that's the Funko Pop of Big James the Dead Bear. So, all gone. Ooh. Early Bird Gets the Sticker is done just because that was an early bird when I was running with the collectible sticker. And now the Singularity, yeah. That one also gets a Bones of Despair just because that one's like, you get everything in the kitchen sink. So if you choose to back this, I want you to know that you get stuff from me that's like messages in black light. You know what I mean? So it's like if you see hints, if you get something extra that wasn't listed in your Kickstarter, take another look at it and see if there's something to it. Because a lot of times it'll send you to other places like my social media where you either get a sneak peek look at something or it's a video that I recorded that I haven't released yet. You know what I mean? So it's just like you get a little more. If you have a chance to watch the short films, they are freaking hilarious. This past one that we did where it's like the fans got together and they sent me their conspiracy theories about what they think broke the death process in this world. And they're really funny. And then if you hang out until the end, you can watch me get hit by a car. So.
Wow. Do you want me to play this video?
Don't play the welcome one. Play this short film, the red one.
Hold on, where is it? This one?
We don't have to watch the whole thing, but it is really funny. Like you guys will enjoy it.
This one?
Yeah.
Good evening. Thank you for joining WDED. I'm Louis Lanning. As you know, we've been following this crisis as it develops. And now we'd like to go live to Ellie Brock on location, talking to you, the viewer, on what you think caused this horrific crisis. Ellie, good evening, and how are you?
Hello, Louis. How are you? I'm here on location today. We're going to walk the streets and see what people have to say. Hello. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. You got it. What do you think broke the death process? The witches. It's the cats. Aliens. Yes, aliens. Where did they come from? Outer space. Why do you think the death process is broken?
I can tell you. It's that damn sugar.
That's a good question. And a lot of you are going to say the government. I know, in fact, most of you are going to say the government.
I think it's the government.
No comment. Do you want to talk about what you think broke the death process? Sir. What? Sir, do you have a second? I'd like to ask you a question. It would have to be Anthony Fauci.
None of this is the reason death was broken.
I honestly think it's vaccines.
What's causing the undead and what's causing the human form to turn into the undead. And it's not just death. If you think about it, this makes sense.
No comment.
Wait, are you saying we can't die?
I think it's the food that we eat.
It's in our candy? I'm not answering no questions.
But maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. I bet it's the cats. I know it's the cats.
She really hates cats.
Oh no.
Remember the pygmies? I think they're back.
No fucking comment.
It's the nanotech technology. A pale horse. And he who sat upon it was dead.
Can you elaborate?
Look, man, I don't know. Back off.
Maybe this is all just a really bad trip.
People, I think you guys are all at fault. The media, the government, big pharma. You guys know who it is.
Do you want to fast forward it to the end, JD?
No comment.
It's
You guys can watch the rest of it if you go on there.
That's awesome.
Look, back up just a little bit. Back up just a little bit. Find me as a news reporter talking. A little bit. There you go.
And there you have it. We've spent all day asking people what they think. There's some truly wild accusations out there, and let me say, we really have no idea.
Go to commercial.
Nice.
You didn't die, so that's good.
Yeah, right.
I
You
mean,
just come
you
back.
come back, right?
That's
You
the
just-
problem.
I was like, and the next one will have me like come across the screen like, I think I'm okay, and like have an arm fall off or something.
That's hilarious.
That was badass.
No, so
I blame the cats too.
It's the cats.
The cats. But you got another 21 days, so I mean, I think you're in good shape.
Yeah, we're at 70%. We're looking good. It's just we want to continue. It's like I there's so many cool things that I can do with this property, and it's like I need you guys, I need your support to be able to continue to do like the short films and all the other crazy things I have planned, like websites that you can hack and yeah, I'll be quiet now. It's Katie's turn.
I'll be right back.
No, we'll come back. Katie, do you want me to play the video first?
Sure, go for it. Yeah, it's a good intro. Hello, everyone. I'm Katie Shaw, the cartoonist behind Dragon Child, and I would like to welcome you all to the Kickstarter for Dragon Child Issue 8. Dragon Child is a modern-day fantasy comic where mythical creatures are real, and the dragons have picked one human to represent all of those different creatures to humanity. That unsuspecting human girl is Ryu Kodomo, our main character. First, she learns that elves are real when she meets Chase, a young elf in the woods. And now she's face to face with the reality that dragons are real too. Specifically, Ryu has just met Ember, a cute young dragon who's very excited to be here. And that brings us to Dragon Child issue 8, which picks up right where issue 7 left off. Scope-wise, this particular issue is 32 pages of black and white comic. I have fully completed the cover, inked 20 out of the 32 pages, with 2 more partially inked, leaving 12 pages left to ink, toning for the whole issue, proofreading, and then I can get things sent off to the printer. To both get the issue printed and get more eyes on Dragon Child, I turn to you all. Reward-wise, there are many options past issue 8, including the ability to adopt some of my handmade dragons. Yes, you heard that right. I hand-make my dragon characters into large plush toys and puppets, too. You can also select the catch-up tier to get issues 1 through 7 if you're new to the series. Even though this is my first crowdfunding campaign, I'm excited to see what this will do to help grow my audience and bring excitement around the series. Thank you all for being here and your support. I hope that you're as excited as I am to see Dragon Child 8 get printed and have it in your hands to read.
Cool. I like the dragons. Your hand sewn dragons. This look really neat.
Yeah, I started making them when I started doing cons, mostly as a way to have more stuff on the table, and it's something that I realized very quickly that I got great joy out of doing, and so I've started making puppets as well. And because they tie into the comic, because they're the characters, it makes it real fun for me as well. Just because it's take something that's been in my brain for well over half my life at this point to something that people can actually touch, which is awesome.
Oh yeah.
I like how your puppets are. She was like, "Look, you can stick your finger in its nose." I was like, "Yes."
Yes.
I was like, "Katie,
no,
I like
it's these are the things that bring joy, and yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, it's one of those things that, like with comics as well, if we didn't enjoy doing these things, we wouldn't, and it brings me joy to make the dragons, so I do.
There you go. That makes you happy hearing that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right, so Katie, walk us through the campaign. I mean, what's the story about? I mean, obviously you told us for the most part, but I mean, if you want to go a little bit more in depth.
Yeah. So basically, issue 8 is the part of the story where our main character Ryu starts actually getting some training and learning about the various talents, magic, however you want to put it, that the dragons have empowered her with. And so she's going to start figuring some of that out. And my personal favorite character, Ember, is finally back in the story as a mainstay, and that brings me joy as well. But yeah, it's basically you have main character coming of age story, and she is just figuring out all of the madness that's going to be in the rest of her life from this point forward. And like Brian was iterating to earlier, I am also a diehard fan of black and white comics. So everything for issue 8 that's currently shown is just the inking, so the toning's yet to come. I have fun doing that once everything's completely inked, because it usually takes me about a week to do that. And I just think, it's a nice way to add depth while also just keeping the honestly calming nature of reading black and white comics. I don't know if anybody else agrees with me on that point, but
absolutely.
See that?
Yeah. So, and I take great joy in going around and doing photo shoots, especially for a lot of my backgrounds, to really just draw people in. And I just like drawing backgrounds. They're fun. Although I will admit the work that I did for a lot of the bricks was a little bit masochistic, but it turned out great. So no complaints. If you know. But yeah. And then again, because this is my first crowdfunding campaign in general, a lot of it was sort of, throwing things against the wall, seeing what sticks, see what people like. I know that people like my handmade dragons, so those are obviously here. So cool. All at limited levels based on what I know that I can create in that time frame. But so far we've had one person bite on the puppets, which is awesome. But there's going to be, so there's 12 total, and there's 2 sets. So one that are in the tier, and then another that are the add-ons. So, get them while they're there. And then for the big one, so there's the character Ember, and then there's the purple dragon, and her name's Shandira, and they're both, I believe, available 3 apiece. So,
Cool.
and then, you know, catch-up tiers. In addition to all 8 issues together, which are the ones that are available through the both catch-ups, I also have a 6-issue trade, and then half of that, so 1 through 3 in a mini trade, and then 4 through 6 in mini trade 2. And those are all add-ons, so I don't have them as tiers specifically, but people can meet, you know, where they're at and say, I already have this much or whatnot, and piece together exactly what they need.
Can I also just really quickly point out how cool it is that you can get these puppets that are original works of art by the creator themselves? I just think that's so neat.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And a good deal at that tier too. I think that's really dope to get something that's a bespoke dragon of your own.
Seriously.
Yeah. How long does it take you to create one of the dragons?
So for the puppets, it usually takes like 8 to 12 hours. So to be perfectly frank, typically what I'll do is I'll cut out 2 sets at a time and then, you know, work on them as I need them, essentially. And during the pandemic, I came up with the ingenious idea of what would it take to make a year's worth of dragons, because I had the time to do it. And so I spent maybe the first 6 months of the pandemic just making skins of both types of dragons, so that way, once cons did start up again, I would be able to just work on the comic and not have to worry about stopping and catching up on my dragons again.
Right.
Which was a great idea. But it definitely, you know, was the most successful way of streamlining the process as well, because literally that was all I was doing, was that and listening to audiobooks. So it was great.
That was such a surreal time for everybody, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, and so much of it was just trying to, again, figure out how to stay relevant when we all just couldn't get out in front of people. And again, for myself, because I'm so used to doing all of this at cons. And granted, yes, I have, you know, my own website, so I've, you know, had a few orders through there, but primarily the business was con sales. And so trying to figure out, you know, what everybody's doing and, you know, what best practices it follows, that was entirely the information that I've been absorbing over the last 2 years. So this is the culmination of all of that.
Nice.
So you use Gemini mailers?
I do.
So, Mr. Lanning, what's the code?
It's Ragin 10. RAGIN 10. That's 10.
All right,
10% off.
There you go. You might want to explain that. Go ahead.
It's 10% off. You get 10% off your Gemini mailers for all the creators out there that want their comics to arrive in, you know, good condition, mint condition. And if you want 10% off, use Ragin 10.
There you go. I just thought I'd share that.
Everybody uses them. You gotta.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, these are really beautiful. So how long have you been working on this, Katie?
So I've been writing it since high school. Had ideas for some of it as early as 5th grade, but I didn't start making it into a comic until I was in high school. And then in 2013, which was, you know, another 7 years later, after I as I'm sure many people did, after college, got my first job. I was working at Apple and very much was absorbed by that work, and asked myself, well, if I'm ever actually going to give the comic a real chance, now is the time. And so I scraped together my savings and have been doing that ever since. But yeah, it's been a wild ride.
Okay.
And it's, again, because I'm the only person working on it, it's one of those where I'm, you know, always having fun going between the different, you know, avenues of the creativity to, you know, keep everything fresh. So.
No, it looks awesome. I mean, nice. You have 14 days.
So 2 weeks left to go.
You got 2 weeks. You're gonna make it. You're gonna do fine.
Without a doubt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks incredible. All right, cool.
Thank you.
Very nice. The puppets are like crazy. I love.
They are. Yeah, they look
amazing.
Great. Yeah.
It's fun. Well, and one little detail that I always enjoy is, so I created these little ear tags specifically for them, and on the back, I don't know if you can see, so it's got the individual puppet's name.
Oh,
Which,
Oh, that's dope.
you know, because they're all the characters, you know, they
Right.
do have names, but that doesn't necessarily mean, especially because it's a black and white comic, that everybody's going to go, oh, I know which one this is. So the name is there.
right. Cool.
Clever.
This is true. Nice. All right. What do we got here?
Yes.
What we got-
Gorilla.
What we got here is the mighty six-gun gorilla Long Days of Vengeance Omnibus. This is the first 8 issues, which have already been completed and crowdfunded and fulfilled, with issues 9 and 10, which are going to be illustrated and added. So
Nice.
this is going to be the entire Long Days of Vengeance arc in one book. And I know that there are a lot of people who didn't back my campaigns for issues 7 and 8 because I had already released a trade paperback with issues 1 through 6. And they were like, okay, yeah, I'll just wait for the paperback for the next TPB. And I'm like, yo, if you don't back this one, there's not going to be another trade paperback. So there was no way that I was going to do a campaign for issues 9 and 10 solo. That wasn't going to happen. At the same time, if you have the trade paperback, which I sold hundreds of, I think one campaign had at least 400 backers. I'm not a double dipper. You're not going to have to buy issues that you already have. There's a tier that has the last 4 issues in its own trade paperback, so you can put it on your shelf. Volumes 1 and 2. So there's options for everybody, including a digital tier as well.
Nice.
Oh, good. Cool.
And floppies, because some people prefer floppies. So there's also a floppy tier.
Nice. Now, let me ask you a question. I mean,
Yes.
Zoop is new.
Yeah, they sure are.
Why did you go with Zoop?
I always feel like I don't really have a chance to give back much to the community.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, for instance, if somebody has a campaign that looks like it's not going to quite make it, I have friends that, boom, will drop a cover, or boom, will, like, drop some sketch cards and get them across the finish line. What am I going to do? Drop, like, a paragraph? Right? I'm a writer, right? And writers, when they're honest with you, will tell you we write comics because we can't draw them. So a lot of us have been looking at Zoop from afar and wondering, is this a viable alternative to Kickstarter and Indiegogo? Because let's face it, they could all make us disappear tomorrow. Indiegogo has been caught shadow banning some people's campaigns. Zoop is a curated site. That's to say that not anyone can go on there and throw their book on there, which is a drawback. Because, of course, you want everybody to have a shot. But right now, Kickstarter and Indiegogo exist, thank goodness. But this is a crowdfunding site that is exclusively for comic books. So most of the people who go to Kickstarter or Indiegogo, 99% of those people, they're not looking for comic books. They're looking for gadgets. They're looking for movies. They're looking for something besides what we do. This is a crowdfunding site that everybody who's coming to Zoop is looking for comic books, and they're looking for indie comic books specifically. So I thought, you know what? Let me just, be the guinea pig, and give this a shot and see what happens. And so far, my experience with them has been nothing but positive.
No, that's cool. I've heard that from a couple other creators. What is this little thing? Is that a sticker?
Ah,
a
yes.
magnet? What is
Yes, that's a sticker. That's a sticker by my man, 6 a.m. Comics, a.k.a. Mark Marianelli. He does these absolutely... he's like one of our sleeping giants, I like to call him, in the indie crowdfunding scene, because he's been working on his book Starfetched for a while now and still hasn't launched the campaign, which is going to be huge. He does like these really cool little sort of chibi characters versions of like people's characters, and it's just a thing, having a 6 a.m. sticker. It's just every time I get one of these with my comic, I'm always psyched. And so this is going to be like a big, I think 6x6 sticker, because I actually did stickers before, but they were like way too tiny. If that's an indication, right there.
Okay.
So yeah, for that tier, people are going to be able to get a wanted poster. Also, that's going to come with your order.
Very nice.
I kind of want your gorilla to show up in my world now.
Oh, there's going to be. There's going to be. I'm already doing crossovers.
Okay,
I would love to see that. That's absolutely a possibility.
Nice. Do you want me to play this video?
Absolutely.
All right.
I gotta stop my cam though, because I don't want people watching me while I'm watching my own trailer.
We've all heard the stories. We've all heard the legends. Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday, Billy the Kid. But there's a secret history to the Old West. One that seems too strange to be true, but, well, we all know what they say about the truth. Very big ape, very big guns, very big holes, very bad people. I think the world is finally ready to hear the story of the strangest, the most startling Western hero of them all. Six-gun gorilla, long days of vengeance.
Yeah.
Donka.
I love that trailer.
Thank you.
I
I'm
love
pretty
it.
That's
happy
an
with how
awesome
it turned
trailer,
out.
man.
Yeah.
Thank you. And
Did you do that yourself, or you hired someone?
I outsourced the animation, but I wrote it and also storyboarded it. Of course, it was the easiest thing to storyboard because all I had to do was just clip pictures from the comic and cut and paste, and then draw little arrows like, could you make this go this way? Can you make that go that way? And the person who did it just did an absolutely wonderful job. I also provided the narration, which is me trying to do my best Sam Elliott, which isn't that great. And
It sounded great. What are you talking about?
well, thank you. You're being charitable. And
No,
also,
I am.
all of the gunshots are taken directly from Sergio Leone movies. That was important just for me. It's one of those things. It's like other people aren't going to know, but I'll know.
Right?
But now we all know, so.
Yes, there you go.
There you go.
There you go. And I've been really, really blessed and am incredibly fortunate because people love this book. I figured that when I released this, that there'd be some people who would really like it. And I didn't think it would be like almost universally popular. I mean, everybody who reads this just tells me they think it's amazing. And you're a writer. You put your work out there. You don't know if it's any good. At least I never know if it's any good. So you wait for people's reactions. I was like, well, is it any good? And people just love this book, and that's not me boasting. That's me being very grateful.
Yeah.
No, it's a good book. I've read it. It's very
Thanks,
good.
dude. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah. So if you're new to the world of Six Gun Gorilla, this is the place to hop on.
All right, cool. You got
Cool.
another 11 days.
Yep.
Is this excuse me?
It's okay.
Is this sort of is this like Indiegogo? Is all or nothing, or is it you can take what you have and move on?
Oh no, I would never do that. I would never do that. No, this is all or nothing. So I got some grinding to do for sure. But I'm confident that we're going to make our goal. If we don't, I'll just relaunch on Indiegogo probably. But we shall see. So far, my experience with Soup has been nothing but positive.
Okay, cool. I know they're heavily into the marketing. So I mean, I know they're doing right by you there. So.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And it's wonderful that when they put your book up, when they launch your campaign, you go to the website and boom, it's like right on the front page.
Yeah.
Almost like they know they're benefiting from it too, right?
Oh, absolutely, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like Indiegogo and Kickstarter, they take a percentage. It's 10%,
Right.
But they actually do something for you. And as for fulfillment, if you are like a former comics creator, Axe Wielder John is probably the biggest book on there. A lot of people already created profiles on there, or accounts, I should say, specifically for that book. But if you are like me, a plebeian, you can click on submit your project, right? And they will host your book if they deem it worthy. But that means that I'm responsible for fulfillment, and I fulfilled on every campaign so far. So you can back with confidence.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask you, if they were going to do the fulfillment for you.
No, I'm not happening enough. They do that for like the established comic creators.
Gotcha. Okay, don't worry about it. It's coming. It's coming. You'll be there.
Thanks,
they'll
brother.
They'll be begging you. They'll be like,
You are established, Brian.
Well, yeah, in the scene, in the scene, but I need to, like I said, it's awareness. Just exposure is our biggest obstacle.
Yeah,
getting people just to know that our books exist, that we exist.
All right, now what is it? I got one more campaign left. I don't know. I'm a little torn. So
what?
I'm a little torn. I'm a little torn about this.
Shade? Do I detect shade being thrown
I know.
here?
I was like, something happening behind the scenes.
It's nothing but shade.
Big time shade.
Snack.
There you go.
Nice.
Go ahead, sir.
This
What?
That's me. I'm on the cover.
Look at that, Laurie. Oh, yeah, you can.
I'm ready. I could totally cosplay that. You need
Mm-hmm.
pictures, sir? You let me know.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Laurie Laurie, excuse me, Vicky, the dead princess. Vicky. Freudian slip. One of my favorite movies growing up was Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Oh,
so
hell
I had this
yeah.
affinity for Universal monsters and stuff like that. But the majority of my catalog doesn't reflect that. I've got superhero books and I've got zombie books. So when it came time for me to expand the catalog of items I produce, why not go into one of my first loves? And that was Universal's monsters, but my spin on it. So Vicky Styx is the creature who protects the other monsters that go bump in the night, or avenges them when nobody else can. And if the quick elevator pitch mashup is, what if Hellboy was a girl and was in Arnold Schwarzenegger's The Eraser, right? So how do they get the creatures out of the sea when they're being hunted? This is the first book in the series. It's a 24-page full-color action adventure, and we've got a couple of different covers for the story already set up. Chibi, I know, Brian, you mentioned that before. Chibi sell, baby. You gotta throw that cutesy element in there. Try to balance out the dark stuff with the cutesiness every once in a while. So we got that, and we've also a blank sketch cover, not just the other stuff. Some of the people who have backed us were like, "Oh, are we going to get sketch covers?" And I don't really have anybody that I can throw in to do something so quick, but they still want. So we put that in there as an add-on. Then we break down who Vicky Styx is, where the story begins. Why am I making a supernatural comic book? Where the money's going? People want to know what it's going to be spent on. Are there add-ons? And yes, there will be add-ons because I've got quite a big catalog of novels and single issue. So there are definitely add-ons while we're doing our Kickstarter. Then we got some of our preview pages coming up. And here we got Vicky fighting a universal style Wolfman in the Monster Bar, breaking it down.
Awesome.
Yeah, a little bit more, we see what happens. We got a couple of vampires that are also in there. This guy, the eye patch, is it's not explained here, but he is he's Hansel from Hansel, and that's his bar, and hence playing into some of those other grim fairy tale elements that Brian brought up earlier today. So why he's running a bar? Well, we explained that in this series. So we see that not everybody not everybody that has fangs is a vampire, and the bouncer of the bar is a Wendigo. So we try to bring in all these other. It's like yeah, man. Why bind myself by anything? So then a couple of T-shirts that are coming up in there. Some of the stuff that we've had in our past offerings, we're offering them again as in T-shirts. Then you scroll down. These are some of the graphic novels that you can add on. Our Dragonstorm book, our Shield of the Interceptor book, our Unstoppable Origins book, our character guide. If you are a fan of the old Marvel Universe Handbook or the DC Who's Who, that you can pick up character information there and stats. Also good if you play Dungeons and Dragons and those type of role-playing games where you need that. You can find that in there. Then we have our Storm Chasers. That's our team book. That was one of our recent campaigns. We throw down the creative team. There's myself, the artist, Eric Tamayo, Michael Summer, colorist, Dr. Mitchell. She is our editor. Then we got my wife who's lettering the book. We've got other single issue add-ons that we still have in print. Floppies, we don't really reprint them. The graphic novels, so we got left. And one of the cool things I like to do is add trading cards with every campaign. So it's our ever-expanding trading card set. They're always added on as stretch goals at no extra charge to the people who are backing us. So we go into the risk and challenges. Oh, I didn't put the oh man. See, you're always making mistakes. It doesn't matter. But I also announced what my first stretch is, which is another trading card. And one of the cool things I do with other creators is we exchange PDFs. So one of my all of my backers, if we hit this first stretch goal, we'll get a free PDF of Sam Vera's There's an Alien in My Toilet. Yes. And then he also gets one of my books as a PDF, so people are getting extra stuff and not having to spend extra money, and then we're not having to come out extra money to produce more content. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Very nice.
JD, I gotta say, this is like hashtag life goals right here, where it's like I can release a comic, but I have all these other titles so we can have as an add-on. And by the way, look at all these other things that I've done that we can sweeten the pot with as an add-on. It's like, oh man, I got one comic.
It's,
you know what I mean?
It's such a good feeling. That's
yeah.
That's one thing I was able to do recently. Folks, when we did our Kickstarter. I was able to give out a whole catalog.
Right. So beautiful.
Fantastic.
I can't, it gives us new people hope. And we could be here someday. Yeah. And I'm totally gonna cosplay that. Thanks. I can pull that off. I could do that. I got those boots.
Listen.
Oh yeah.
I made it easy, right?
You just wear jeans.
It's the pirate, the canvas pirate shirt, blue jeans, and boots.
Well, and it's also just too funny that it's an undead character considering.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It's an undead character. It's right up my alley. I'm like, I got some white face paint. We're going. Let's do it.
All right,
I'm gonna be in. I may be in the Fan Expo in June. You know, so
I'm going to be
see
at
if you show up,
Cowtown
dude.
in June.
Yeah. No,
Next
I'm not.
year?
I'm not doing that one.
You're not coming to Cowtown this
Maybe
year?
next year.
Next year.
No, but Dallas Fan Expo is in June, right? The first weekend.
I thought Fan Expo was coming up.
There's one now, right? But they do another one in
Yeah.
June, aren't they?
Yeah, they do. So that's the one you're
Yeah,
coming
so
to? All right, I'll be
I'm
there.
sure- Yeah,
But I'll
I'm
probably
sure
be at
so.
my table. I can't cosplay your character at my table. You're like,
Nice.
who are you?
Money. You gotta make your money.
Nobody related.
Now listen, we only got a few minutes left. We got a few minutes left, but we owe Mr. Michael a question. So go.
Oh man, I thought I got out of it.
Oh
Golly.
yes.
No, that's not how to say it.
Yeah. All right. So, do you look outside of comics at other trends that can help your marketing ideas? Like, something besides what you see in indie comics being marketed, or even mainstream comics, but something like, maybe toys, maybe fashion, maybe something around those lines.
All right.
That you integrate.
Katie, you're up.
Does the fact that I already make my stuff count?
Yeah.
No, I mean, so when I was starting out in college, one of my English professors, he was like, be very critical of the things that you love, and also very, most importantly, the things that you hate. And I've always taken that to heart. So absolutely. I mean, I'm just trying to think, because realistically, I think that comic book creators, a lot of us are also going to be looking at books. We're going to be looking at animation, and that those things, realistically, our readers are also going to be, absorbing that media too. So if there's something different that they're doing, they're probably, the most easily relatable stuff. But, same deal if you need to get stuff made by, somebody. Obviously, I have the advantage of making these things myself. But also, I really like Laurie's idea of having little videos and stuff of things tying into the story. I think things like that are great. But I think that's really the biggest question is, where else can we really be looking beyond the obvious of, the two closest medias? I don't, again, because I don't write music, like I would love to be able to say, oh yeah, I'm going to write some song and I'm going to be able to sing that myself, but I don't write music. So that's the trouble is, kind of knowing what's in your own wheelhouse to then, or like finding another creator who's able to do something and making that, cross-contamination work as well. So, and having shows like this is really the easiest way, that and cons, to be able to really just bring enough people together to hope that maybe you say, oh, well, I really like what you do. Would you mind helping me with my campaign and maybe making something to be on both? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, before we move on, I just wanted to say hello to, because while I'm scrolling through, I can't hit the news, the feed. So, what's up, Pops? What's up, Tyler? What's up, Zombie McNasty?
What up, Pops?
Hey, Pops.
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 Yeah.
We all know Pops.
Everybody loves Pops.
Everybody. Yeah, well, he was hilarious in your video, so. I thought that was
Yeah, he was.
By the way,
That's my little cameo.
There's this clip where this guy is walking, like the one that was on the street, and he is like very dramatic with the fog coming. At the end of his clip, he's like, "Don't believe everything you hear; it's just a bunch of bullshit." And like turns around and walks away, and he has like a knife sticking out of his back.
Yeah. I was hoping you'd show that. I love that.
That was also Pop's idea, but he's like, he had already done his and turned it in. He was like, "Oh, I got this other great idea." I was like, lay it on me. And he was like, yeah. I was like, can I use that? He was like, absolutely. So I was like, all right, okay, people, someone needs to get this done. And it turned out great. So he's such a great collaborator and has such good ideas that he just very willingly gives to people like, here, do this. It's funny. I'm like, yes.
Yeah. He's a very generous man. He's most importantly, generosity of spirit.
Yes, absolutely.
So Laurie, what's your answer for the question?
I want to look at TikTok trends. It just kind of works for my medium. Like I said, I kind of live in this surreal place where it's like my TikTok can show comics, but it can also be like in the actual world. Like we did a few videos that were fun with my kids where it was like, you won't survive the apocalypse with your children. It's just really funny. Or it's like, don't touch me. And then all of a sudden, the animal can see you and is coming after you, stuff like that. But that's kind of where I want to spend some of my time building my world, is doing like short form video, because that is so popular right now. It's like you got TikTok, you got Reels, you have it's on Instagram, and now you have short form video on YouTube. So that's what people are watching. So it's like, okay, what can I do in my world to capitalize on that? So, I mean, again, it's not going to be for everybody, but that just kind of works in my world.
All right, cool. Brian, what are you thinking?
I think it's always great to reach out to people that have talents that you don't have. One of the things that's been such a joy of being part of this indie comic creators space has been not only running into people that have various talents, but also people who know people, right? So you find somebody that's doing 3D printing. You find somebody that's doing T-shirts. Pops around a guy that's doing custom sneakers.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like these original works of art that you can wear on your feet.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
That's that. As for other media like TikTok, for instance, I'm so not like connected to that world that it's so completely foreign to me. Have I thought about maybe trying to work some of these more popular websites? Sure, but I think that we have yet to have somebody that will show us the way, so to speak. Right?
Yeah, it's very different on there. It's like they have trends. They have like, you have to know what music is trending. You have to know, like, they'll all do like a dance thing, and then they'll all do like a challenge, and then they'll all, you know what I mean? So it's a weird place. It's very political as well. So you have to kind of learn how to stay out of that trap. Like, don't get involved in that. But it's like, they get a ton of views, and you can really promote your stuff if you can figure it out. But again, how do you figure it out?
Exactly. We have yet to see somebody else do it.
I'm
right?
gonna try.
That'd be fantastic. But that's also, once again, what's great about being part of this community. We try different things and share our successes and our failures. And if something works out, we can be like, hey, check this out.
Yeah.
Like
Twitter Space. Everybody go jump on a Twitter Space, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, so I'm sorry, JD. That's all I got.
No, that's cool. Tyler puts up. I also it was this one actually. Brian, I will show you the way. I gained 4,000 followers on TikTok in 2 months. Keep posting 2 to 3 videos a day with good content.
Well, I definitely can't do any twerking because I don't have much of a behind. All my girlfriends call me the buttless wonder.
But see, here's the deal with that, though. And okay, you say with good content, but what is that? That's what you have to be saying.
It takes planning. You know what I mean? You actually have to plan out the video. So it does take work.
I don't know, because there's that chunky Turkish guy who just jumps around. I thought
that was you.
And he's bouncing belly. So you gotta twerk. You gotta beer belly.
One thing I've noticed about those is it's almost like a what's going to happen next type of thing. Because when you get on one of those and it kind of scrolls and something's moving, you're like, okay, the reason people click on it is what's going to happen next. So it's almost like you have to set up a suspense thing for it, you know?
Sometimes other people are like, if there's more than one, like if they're like, it's a part 2, they're like, no, thank you. You know what I mean?
No, well, I don't even mean that much. I mean, just that first second, you got to catch them in that first 2 seconds. Something's about to happen, so they'll stay for the last, 3 or 4 seconds to see.
Because I've seen people put up other types of TikTok, not necessarily twerking, but necessarily informative. I've seen some artists put up stuff where they're drawing or things of that nature. So I think
that's cool.
It's like there's other types of content. I think in Tyler's point, he's probably putting up stuff about marketing. Good content equals identifying the audience, figuring out what they want, and then providing value to them. I gain 1,100K views per video. It works. There you go.
See, we should all pick Tyler's brain. Tyler, hop on here. Send him the link, please.
I interviewed him a few days ago, and it was a really awesome interview. So, and he also has a video up on marketing, which is actually very informative, which I thought was interesting. So, all right, Marcus, What have you got, sir? What do you got?
I have the misfortune of being a business analyst as far as a day job goes. So I look at more data sets than I care to ever fucking admit. So a lot of what I learn is just through osmosis of just doing what I do every day. And I have a lot of different things within the consumer space. My bread and butter is e-commerce, so everything I do is interacting through things online where I can see how content affects sales, how you engage with people, like, what things lead to, how you build out your catalog, all sorts of things like that. As far as actual outreach, again, it just goes back to being able to utilize your platform, whatever works best for you. If you got TikTok, got to do TikTok and make it work. If you don't have that little engagement, don't have time to make videos, things like that. Like, once again, like, I think being active in the groups and Twitter, everything like that, I've been kind of engaging with creators at Facebook, like my sort of thing. So you guys will see me post. I'll be on different groups and forums when I'm not even doing anything. When I'm just dicking around, doing some sketches, drawing, or just talking about topics that's on my mind. Really be engaged and just building that sort of awareness over yourself and what you're doing. And then when you actually do have something and drop it, people are like, oh yeah, hearing that guy talk about something seems like a smart dude. Let me go check out his campaign. It's cool. I'll back it. See how it goes from there. I wish I could do the TikTok thing, man. I'm too elder of a millennial. I don't get it.
Right, because
I'm too much on the Gen X side.
I don't think I'm any younger than you guys. Like,
well, I mean, it's also an investment that you're going to have to make to study it, to kind of break it down and figure out exactly how it works. And I can't see myself doing that.
Some of us are older in spirit than we are. Like, I'm 40, but like,
get off my lawn.
I'm 80.
And some of us look younger than we actually are.
Yeah.
Some of us are baby faced.
Yeah, I had that.
like, oh.
Some of us are just old. So
Yeah, that too.
listen, I'm probably the oldest person here. So
No.
yeah.
How old are you,
Yeah.
JD?
I'll be 54 in November.
Oh,
Really? I would have never said 54. I would have said 40s for sure.
Yeah,
40s.
I would have said like 60.
yeah. I just turned 54 on October 1st, so I'm just like ahead of you. Just by that
just
much.
slightly. Well, but 68 was a good year.
Happy birthday.
Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
Happy birthday. Yeah.
Jay, they were talking about me, not you.
Oh, snap.
Wow.
But listen, I have to give it back to him. It's the
Yeah,
only way it
man.
works.
Yeah,
You're never gonna get your stuff now.
Never,
You know that's
never
not right.
happened.
It's not
That's
happening
all
now.
right. That's all right. Listen. There's certain abilities and powers. There's certain abilities and powers that I'm granted. You know,
yeah, man.
like certain things I can just do. Right? Like,
That's all right. He said he's gonna go to his own live stream.
He barely knows how to hit the buttons.
That's right. My production quality is shit.
Ruthless.
Wow.
I gotta come up with new jokes because half of the jokes I have is how he's a bad producer on his own show. After doing my own live stream, I understand. I became a worse producer than he was.
Wow. That's only an admission you're gonna get right here, right now.
Well, but all seriously, Jay, answer the question, please. What do you got?
Dude, I sell my ass on 42nd Street. You know what I mean? For rocking. I don't really got. I'm just trying to figure it out, just like everybody else is. And I'll even read Inc. magazine or Fast Company to see what things are being done differently than here in the comic book space. But then I also try to see what anybody else is doing in the Venn diagram of geek space. See if it's something that I can apply to me. It's a constant. What is out there? What What applies to me? What can I do?
Yeah.
Fair. See, I don't even remember the question. What was it?
Well, basically, it's looking at other things and the way that they market and applying that to comics. The way like a way action. Say let's take turtles for instance. Okay, you
Turtles.
see turtles are big in action figures. Well, would that translate well into comics? Will I sell comics if I put turtles in there or a gorilla on the cover? That kind of thing. In that space, looking outside of comics for marketing ideas, I guess is.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I was at Disney World, 3 weeks ago, and it's my favorite place to find new ideas for merch.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if I go, I go there, I'm always looking for their merch, but I'm looking how can I apply it to me, right? So maybe they have a design.
Yeah. Apparently, what you need to do is make some Oswald Chronicles fucking backpacks, and they're gonna sell like
Funko Pops, man.
The Funko Pop. That's what
I was just at Disney too. Yeah, those things are goddamn everywhere. Of course, my kid wanted one too, so I had to get him an Avengers one.
or put together a vinyl bag that you could give away for free at a Comic-Con and see everybody walking around promoting their shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, and
I actually did that with our last
cool.
campaign. We have retailer bags for retailer too. I got one bite on it.
Okay.
So
Oh, that's
Odyssey
smart.
comic bags that people will be able to carry their merch around.
And specifically for Disney, like the two
Can I
big
ask how much
things
you
that
paid
they
for it?
have.
How much was it in bulk?
I can't reveal my sources, JD. No, I think. I think when it comes
For
down
you
to
to
it,
find out.
yeah, it's gonna be probably like 75 cents a buck a bag for reusable.
Okay, good.
Sort of like.
It's a good idea.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'm sorry about that, Mr. Lanning. Please answer your own question. What do you got there?
Oh, I have nothing. I have absolutely nothing. I'm here to pick everybody else's brains.
Right.
No, but I mean, just I haven't myself. No, but when I go into that space, you listen, you collect what you can from everybody here, from what you hear from other people. You look and you gauge what works, what doesn't. Does that work in this space? That works for this space. Does it work for that space? And you try and you see what you can do. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. I mean, if I have to twerk, I guess I have to twerk. I mean,
Someone was like, you could have a channel on Something Hub. There's a guy that does math problems on Something Hub. You know what I'm talking about?
I was about to say the only hub that I know, nobody's doing math on there.
That's what someone said. They're gonna go look for it, but I mean, someone's like, "Yeah, this dude's on there, and all he does is solve math problems. He gets millions of views." I'm like, "What? That doesn't make any sense." I was like, maybe if I wore like a flesh-colored bodysuit, so I'm not actually showing anything. I just read comics out loud.
But my question, but my question is this though. Okay, you say you have millions of views and you have thousands of views, but are those translating into sales?
Exactly.
Well, then
That's
he
the
gets
thing.
advertising. He gets
No,
advertising money, right? That's what he gets
Right.
out of it. But I don't know. It's like
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
Tyler,
that website with the 6
well, Tyler said he was able to translate a bunch of those views into sales because
Right, it
his
did. It
his
was
campaign,
Kickstarter.
which just ended, he just ended his first 5-figure campaign. Congratulations to him. He did a
All
great
right.
job. Exactly.
Good stuff.
So I mean, I think there is a thing to translate. And what's funny about TikTok though is the difference is the Chinese platform. I don't trust that damn platform. I'm just
Gotta
saying.
be careful.
I just don't trust. Yeah. If you ever read the
you
terms,
have to be careful.
yeah, if you read the terms of service, they have access to everything on your phone or any other media that you're on. Once you log in and you have the app, they can go through your phone and scan the entire phone. It's in their terms of service. It's really creepy. So yeah, that's why I don't have I'm like TikTok. I don't
Same
know.
here.
Yeah.
Well, and by the time you're ready to go to you discover a platform, and let's be honest, talking about being old, it's already been done. There's another platform out there that everybody knows something about. So it's really trying to be. You have to be an innovator. You have to be. It's not just the marketer. It's not just where you're at. If you look at your big names, you look at your Walt Disneys, and you look at your Jim Hensons and everything else like that. They weren't just animators. They weren't just creators. They were innovators. They were looking at other things outside of where you're at to expand on where they were, on what they wanted to expand on. And that's what you have to do if you're going to be successful, is to look outside and look at that. Don't sit in your own bubble. Look outside.
Right.
I think it was Brian was talking about that bubble. So,
Well, he says, Tyler said, my TikTok's content is 100% different than my YouTube content. And Max from Atrocity Press says, I just have zero clue about what to put up on TikTok. I seriously, without 13-year-olds, care about what I have to say. Now, but what's funny, though, is Max is part of something called Jibber Jabber, right?
Yeah.
And he's putting out a new platform where people can use that as an alternative to Twitter, and it's mostly all just comedy. So I don't know if you heard about it. I should have put a link in the show notes, but I'll try to get it in there. So you can go check out Jibber Jabber. But anyway, folks, we made it to the end. All right. So, yay, there you go. All right. Now, let's start with Katie. Please let us know where they can find you and your work.
Yeah, so dragonchild.net is my primary website, so you can find all the links there. But with the exception of Twitter, Dragonchild Comic, you can find me on everything else. Twitter specifically is DragonchildKS.
All right. Cool. Nice. Marcus?
You can find me at odysseycomics.com, on Twitter at comics_Odyssey. And of course, if you want to see us in person, my next con is going to be Unicon, Las Vegas. We'll be launching a new book, Little Deaths. No Kickstarter, no nothing. This is already funded. We're already in print. The books are sitting here to me next now. We'll be rolling this one out. The artist on it, Andrew Herman, will also be in attendance with me. So you can come, get it signed, meet us, shoot the shit. And then we'll be launching it on the Odyssey web store pretty soon here. I'm working on it. Should have it done in the next 2 weeks or so. So you go straight to odysseycomics.com and buy our books there.
All right. Cool. Mr. Brian?
You can find me on the Twitter at Brian Christgua, also on Facebook, also on YouTube. The way that it's spelled here, not the way that he spelled it, the way it's spelled here. Sorry, man, I had to use that as an opportunity to get in another dig.
That's fine. That's fine.
And every Tuesday, I host a horror movie club where we watch a horror movie in advance and then get together and discuss it. And there's always a link to the movie in the description, so you can click on the link and watch it for free, because we always make sure to pick a movie that's not behind a paywall.
Nice. Okay. Nice. Laurie?
I'm everywhere. Facebook group, Path of the Pale Rider. That's the one that has like the most fan interaction. We play games, we do meme contests, we caption things, we do riddles and sneak peeks. So that in my opinion is, if you're on Facebook and you're in this group, that's where you're going to get the best fan experience. But we're on Instagram at Path of the Pale Rider with an underscore between all the words. Same thing for TikTok at Path of the Pale Rider underscore underneath all the words. Twitter at Path Pale Rider. And then website www.pathofthepalerider.com. So I'm all over the place, and I like, we're Kickstartering right now, so I'm highly interactive. So if you like something or you have questions about anything, please hit me up. Go check out that Kickstarter, watch all the funny videos, see if you can solve the riddles. I challenge you. The challenge is on. Solve the riddle. Do it.
Nice. Mr. Lanning?
As always, you can find me at linktree /C Michael Lanning. That's got everything, my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and my portfolio and everything over there. Also, you catch me on Dispatches from Outside the Box, where we scour the corners of geekdom to inspire you to create outside the box every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Check us out over there. And sometimes also on Sketchy Saturdays. I forget I'm on that show, but I'm there. Sketchy Saturdays, where we talk and we draw on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern. This whole time zone thing's got me messed up, man. 10 a.m. Eastern, which is on the Indy Comics Network. So,
all right, cool. We lost somebody, so I guess I'll just wrap up the show. I'm only joking. Jay, go on.
He's like, stop booting me.
I'm gonna get you. You can find me at
it only gets worse.
Comic Stuff. Yes, I know it does. I do. Listen, we hang out.
I'm sorry.
Oh, snap.
Don't do it too much, because every time he comes back, we get the circle of death. We're going to lose him eventually.
Sorry, I had to self-mute myself. I couldn't say what I couldn't let it be heard what I really wanted to say. You know, but
Don't
man,
make me
you know
do
what?
it
Let me
again.
say. Okay, now that I'm back, UnstoppableComics.com, and then you can check out the Dead Princess on Kickstarter, where you can pick up any one of these right there. Dead Princess Vicky Steaks on Kickstarter. Thank you.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. For myself, you can find me here just about every Sunday because I like to take some Sundays off. But Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, DeviantArt, all under JD Calderon, or the OswaldChronicles.com or TallTalesOnline.com, where you can check out my work. And that's it for tonight. Guys, you're all fantastic. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
You guys, everybody, just to let you know, you're always welcome. You know, just shoot out a DM. Just let me know you ever want to come back on.
Awesome.
You're always welcome. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. And check out the campaigns. They're all in the show notes. All right. So you just click on those, go back some books, go buy some books, buy their books, go get them. Thank you.
Peace
Have
and
a
love,
good night.
everybody.
Awesome.